Hello and welcome to TB3 Sports Talk, episode 1997. Just kidding. I actually, I didn't mean to say that, but that is what we're rolling. Episode 97, my birth year, 1997.
Wow, he's exposing himself as old.
I'm an old man. I was kind of like, man, I hope they let me introduce this one because this is my birth year. So yeah, no players that I'm aware of, but yeah, 1997, the year of Joel Robinson.
So if you can do math, you can figure out Joel's age. But I think a lot of our viewers maybe can't do math.
I can barely do my age. That's a hard thing to ask.
Hey, it's hard once you get up. Never mind. That was almost a underhanded old joke. It is what it is. But for your birth year episode, we have some exciting things to talk about, especially on the football field, because not only did the Bucs get a Week 1 win, but they got a Week 1 win against a divisional opponent to start the season 1-0. So before we start in, just want to say, if you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're listening now and you are interested in college sports, whether it's USF, Florida, or the Florida State Seminoles, be sure to check out TB3 University. That will be out on platforms as well as at the same time as when this is out. But we're going to talk about the pro teams. We're talking Bucs and Rays today, and we're going to start with the Bucs. Will, a big win for the Bucs. I mean, what's your initial takeaway from the Buccaneers, Week 1 win against the Falcons?
Hey everybody, this is Will. I'm sad you guys can't see us this week, and hopefully you'll see us soon. One thing too, what about Simeon Rice, man? 97.
He's going in.
I only know my baseball and hockey numbers. I'm like, all right, we got Warren Sapp for 99. Other than that, I don't know.
We're going to that.
Wait, 98. 98 is that Vazzy or Cooch? 98's a
98 is Vazzy.
All right, so we got numbers coming up.
Yeah.
And after that, we hit our triple digits. And
wow, that's gonna be crazy.
Say Anthony Nelson. Well, we gotta do something special for the 100-year.
That'll be crazy.
Or 100th episode.
Yeah, we'll do something.
But no, takeaways from the Bucs, man. I think the biggest thing is some early struggles on both sides of the ball, and really your offense not necessarily playing well as to what we expected them to play. One of the best offenses in the entire NFL last year, and it got off to a slow start. But I think the biggest thing is, despite all the struggles on both sides, you came away with the win. You got what you were supposed to get, which is a huge win in the NFC South. And I think it's kind of crazy. Week 1, this game is gonna mean a lot for the rest of the season going forward.
Yeah, I agree, Joel. You can go.
I think there was a lot of resilience there. There definitely were some flaws in the games, obviously things you need to improve upon, but to come out the gates, win Week 1, get the monkey off your back of losing to the Falcons consistently, definitely something to hold your head up high on.
I think the resilience is what sticks out to me as well. I look at last year, the Buccaneers were 2-6 in one-score games. It was something that plagued them last year. We're going to see another thing that plagued them last year. We're going to see next week. But also, the Falcons plagued them last year. They're 0-2 against the Falcons last year, giving up 30-plus points in both games. They held the Falcons to 20. And then, Todd Bowles going into this game was 2-4 against the Falcons. It was a team he struggled against. The other NFC South teams he had been able to take care of business. This team he had struggled with. One-score games, 2-6 last year. That was something that plagued us all year. It was just tough to watch. It felt like there was a stretch in the middle of the season where it was like, man, we're losing on a last-second field goal or a heartbreaking touchdown every single week. So for the Bucs to not only get a close victory, but to get a close victory against this team, even if it wasn't the best game played, and we'll get into that. I don't think, like Will mentioned, I don't think it was a good game played by the Buccaneers, but even if it wasn't their best game, to get a victory like this against this team is a really positive sign for these guys going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should start defensively. I think defense was the story of this game. You look at, last year against the Falcons, they gave up 36 points and then 30 points. Today, the Buccaneers gave up only 20, or Sunday, I apologize. They gave up only 20 points, and 7 of those were very early on. It was like a 50-yard, touchdown reception by Bijan Robinson. Starts on the first drive. I think it was the 34th play of the game. Starts third game, yeah. And it starts the game off just a bad taste in your mouth. You feel like it's the same old Bucs, the same old problems. But the Buccaneers defense really tightened up. They really buckled down, and I think the defense after that big Bijan Robinson touchdown was very, very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am pretty impressed with them, and I think a lot of people should be too. And I know a lot of people give Todd Bowles hate. But I think, after some struggles in the beginning, especially giving up a huge explosive play like that, they were locked down for most of this game. And I think it started with stopping Atlanta on a 4th and 1 kind of earlier in the game. I think that was kind of the turning point. And then I think, too, you look at even when the Falcons took the lead there off of a touchdown within 2 minutes, it took a lot of penalties. It took a lot of reviews. And it took 9 plays for the Falcons to score at the Bucs 11-yard line. So you talk about a lot of bending but not breaking and really holding it down when it matters. And I think a lot of help from the referees too.
Yeah, I mean, what was that? The same drive, 2 roughing the passers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just think that's such a stupid rule. Just so dumb. Like Vita Vea is hitting Michael Penix as he's throwing, and he just makes a little bit contact to the head just because he's a tall guy and he's trying to bat the football down. Like, that's a football play. I think that's dumb. And then who was that other one? Greg Gaines was the other one I think was on, and that was just a terrible call. That wasn't anything, but that was just horrible officiating.
Yeah, the officiating down that stretch. You talk about. I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole, but you just talk about really willing them to score. I think like letting them get a review on after a play had already
that was weird
gone down, which is like I kind of feel like if you're a ball knower, if you grow up watching football, you just kind of know that rule. Like it's not really something that's talked about. You just kind of know like once a play happens, you don't get to go back and review the play before. Like that's just football 101. I think too when they got an extra play there. It was a clear holding on Atlanta, but they had offsetting penalties with the pass interference. That was a phantom call. There was no pass interference there. So, gotta give the Bucs defense a lot of credit because they had to stop the Falcons a lot more than really what they should have.
Yeah, and I also think a good sign of when a game is poorly officiated is, I know a lot of these went against the Bucs, which means the call went in the Bucs' favor. But if there's that many reviews in the game, that means the referees are missing that many calls. Like, and there's no, ifs, ands, or buts. They are missing the call. It's getting overturned. And I think when you have that many reviews, it's kind of just a signal of a pretty poor officiating group. So hopefully that'll improve. It's week 1 for them too. They're trying to get back in the swing of things as well. So hopefully those officials will approve. And I think one of the storylines of this game is the guy who actually got called for that phantom pass interference, and that's Servachier Dennis. There's a lot of good with Servachier Dennis and a lot of bad. There's even a moment in I think it was the early fourth quarter or late third quarter where he actually got pulled to the sideline. He got practically benched or at least sat down for a few plays because he was back in the next drive in lieu for Deion Jones. But Servachier Dennis was benched, but he still had some positives. 10 tackles on the day, a tackle for loss, but did give up some big plays. What are your thoughts on the Servachier Dennis Week 1 game in general?
I was actually very disappointed because I kind of feel like we were told that a lot of last year's passing defense struggles were because we didn't have Servachier Dennis in there, and I don't think he necessarily did really well at all in the past game on defense this past Sunday. I think he was as advertised in the run game. Like you said, he made a bunch of plays, stuff in the run, filling gaps, and some huge hits in the backfield. But passing game, it is very concerning, and that's something that the Bucs have struggled with. Their linebackers and pass coverage outside Levante David, who's just the ageless wonder, the timeless GOAT. But yeah, I was very disappointed with Servachier Dennis because I thought that was something that was going to be fixed with him being healthy, but it really isn't. As you can see, the Falcons, a lot of times their big plays came from Bijan Robinson out of the backfield catching passes. And, Bijan Robinson is a good player, but you're going to see plenty of running backs who can make plays out of the backfield, and Servachier Dennis has got to lock that down.
I think you'll see plenty of running backs that can make plays out of the backfield, but I don't know if you're going to see many running backs that can make plays like Bijan Robinson
He can make the first man miss, but I'm just saying, there's still a standard. Like, you got to
I don't know.
It was disappointing.
It was, and I agree with you, but I also think Savache Dennis was put in some unfavorable situations. Like a lot of times being, isolated man-on-man coverage with one of the best running backs in the NFL, especially in open space, I thought was, unwise. I think if the Bucs could do it over again, you maybe get a safety down there on him, a faster player. I think it's a tough matchup for Savache, but there is no doubt that he was out of position. I'm looking at his PFF right now, he has a 29.4 tackling grade. You got to do better than that. Even if you're going to get beat, even on that first touchdown, he takes a horrible angle and he gets beat and he's not able to get Bijan down. You want to make the Falcons work up and down the field. Teaser to the college football episode. Anyways, but I think that for Savache Dennis, I think the start in the first 3 quarters were ugly. But I think what means more to me personally, and maybe I'm taking this a positive way, but what means more to me personally is the way he responded after getting benched. I mean, it was the drive after Savache Dennis got benched and he came back in where he's coming in there making a huge tackle for loss, making huge plays, huge tackles, and I thought he was phenomenal after he got benched. And I think that's, a sign of a good young player, a player that's going to improve throughout the season. And for me, that was positive for me. I think he obviously made some mistakes, but again, this is Savache Dennis' 3rd year, so he's a young player in general, but he hasn't had that many football games. I mean, he's probably less than 15 football games, so he's going to make those mistakes. There's a lot put on his shoulders this year. I was more impressed with the way he responded after getting benched than disappointed in the way he played that led to him getting benched.
Yeah, this will definitely be a year to see if he improves because, again, injury concerns are definitely always something on the table for him, so this might be the make or break year for him maybe. We'll see. Yeah,
I agree. I think that positively on the defense, I think what one guy who just sticks out just off the chart, man, is Zion McCollum. This was Zion McCollum's first game since getting a 3-year, $48 million contract extension. Congrats to you, Zion. And he was phenomenal. Highest PFF grade on the team with a 77 PFF grade. And then just let me read you the stat line because it is really, really good. 11 tackles, a pass breakup, or 10 tackles, and a tackle for loss. And he also did a great job he held Drake London to 8 catches, 55 yards, which was almost exactly 20 yards over his average total from last season per game. So Zion McCollum was phenomenal. I don't know. Any other players or thoughts on Zion, or what do we think?
Yeah, well, I just think, like you brought up the contract, and how many times do we see these guys sign a big deal, get a new contract, and then their play, it kind of decreases over that first year. But what a first game for him, especially to lead the team in his PFF grade. And I think, too, need to hit the jug machine. But it gives me, Todd Bowles has talked about, kind of the focus is creating turnovers, something that the Bucs have struggled with. But there he is making plays. Like, you wish he would reel some of those in, but it gives me hope for the future. He's not going to make that mistake again. And I was really happy to see that him, making some very big plays.
Absolutely, Joel. Any thoughts on Zion or another player from the Bucs defense?
Echoing all those things, like you think of so many players that have come and gone through the Bucs system with that contract extension, and they're done. They're like, I had peace out. I did what I needed to do. Now I can kind of coast into the end of the contract. But to see what he did week 1, you're excited for the rest of the season.
Will, I'll ask you this question: who is another player that sticks out to you from this Buccaneers defense?
Well, I think for me it was Hassan Reddick. I talked about it last week. For those listening, I said he's got to be a guy. He's got to be a dude for this defense, and he certainly did his part. Team high 7 pressures on Michael Penix and a sack, a huge sack for that. So he's one that stuck out to me. There is another. I guess I'll save it for somebody else, but I think it's pretty obvious who that other person is. But yeah, Hassan Reddick, man, keep it up because that's what we needed.
Does his last name, the other person's last name, rhyme with Farish?
No, but it was. I guess I'll say Antoine Winfield. Man,
Tweez, man, Tweez!
What a play to save the game! Oh my goodness! And this is what we've been expecting from him. A tough season last year, but this is why you have him on the team. He is a game changer. He has decided outcomes of games all on his own by making huge plays like that. And oh man, I got this screenshot on my phone just just that guy spread eagle on the ground, because that was awesome. I mean, that might be a photo.
That's a great
That might be the
photo.
photo of the year
And
already.
Antoine Winfield looks like he just murdered someone. Joel, you gonna look at his phone, bro?
Oh, nice.
That's yeah. Antoine Winfield looks like he just killed someone in that picture too. It's amazing. I'm sure if you've been on social media, you've seen it. I mean, what a huge play! That was one of those moments where I think announcers and play-by-play guys get a lot of flack for saying dumb things, but I think it was Jonathan Vilma on the call with Kenny Albert, and he said, I don't know who the Falcons offensive coordinator is, but he's with the Rams, and he's like, I've seen him do a bunch of shots when you think that they're going to do a check down and play for the field goal at the end of the game. This might happen, and then that play happened. They took a shot, and Antoine Winfield came screaming over.
Oh, that play was so good.
Yeah, screaming over and knocked the ball loose. That was a huge play. I think Todd Bowles, after the game in his press conference, said Antoine Winfield played fast, and he thought that a lot of other guys played fast. That's a great sign for Antoine Winfield. That means he's healthy. And, yeah, I can't say enough about that play, like you mentioned, Will. And then I was going to mention Jacob Parrish. I mean, what a rookie debut for the nickel cornerback. We've been telling you all preseason, this guy is a dude. And, second highest PFF grade on the team at 76.5. My box score just went away. But he was just phenomenal all over the place. Really, 5 tackles, a tackle for loss. Just did a really good job of, being where he needed to be, being aggressive in the short passing game, in the running game. I think that he did a good job in the nickel. I mean, guys he was matched up with, in the slot. I know Darnell Mooney didn't play, but still there was not much, production from the slot receiver spot for the Atlanta Falcons. And I think that, He just played a really good game. He made one of the biggest plays, in my opinion, of the game. It was on the second drive. It was, I think, second or third down. The Bucs were down 7-0. They went 3 and out, give the Falcons back the ball. If the Falcons score a touchdown or move down the field, it could be a kill shot early in the game. Jacob Parrish makes a huge tackle for loss, stalls the Falcons' drive, and the Bucs are able to get their feet underneath them. And I thought he was really, really impressive on Sunday.
Yeah, I completely agree. What do they say? It's not the size of the dog in the fight. Because that's Jacob Parrish, man.
Yeah, amen. Yeah, he's really, really good. Impressive rookie debut. And I think we could maybe get to another impressive rookie debut. We haven't said a name yet that we probably should have on offense. Mr. Emeka Egbuka. Man, what a performance.
My goodness.
What a performance for the Buccaneers rookie first-round pick. 4 catches, 67 yards, 6'7", and then two touchdowns, including the game winner at the end of the game. What an impressive debut, Joel. What did you see from Emeka?
I mean, think about it. He led all the receivers in the game for stats. So, he looked great, clean, like he'd been there. It wasn't his first rodeo. I mean, anything you could say about him, it's fitting. Like, he looked like this was just another point in the checkmark of his checkpoint in his career. Like just here for a paycheck. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think you can't say enough about him, and just how much he means to this offense, and especially coming in as a rookie and doing that stuff. And I think, and this was, partially my mistake when we look back at the draft and stuff, is that, with all the talent in the Ohio State receiving room, these last decade or so, you could say. I mean, it was easy to overlook him, but I don't think anybody will be overlooking him now. Didn't he call a shot too on the last touchdown?
That's what Mike Evans said. Mike Evans said Emeka said he wanted to run that route. He said it would be open, and Baker found him. That is, So I'm gonna pull up the quote, because Baker Mayfield said this after the game, and I thought it was really, really telling. Baker Mayfield said he's the real deal, a true professional. He doesn't play like a rookie. He doesn't act like a rookie. And that is, highest praise. We've mentioned it. Everyone is just raving about Emeka Egbuka, and you saw the production out of him in the first game. Nothing that he did was fluky. It was all calm. It was all under control. He was open, great routes, great hands. And I think the Bucs even could have used him a little bit more. I just think the Bucs offense was a little out of sync. What was I about to say? I was gonna say I had him on my bench for fantasy this week though. It was a mistake.
Poor guy.
I know it was a mistake. I went Calvin Ridley over Emeka Ibuka. That was dumb.
He's got butterfingers.
I know they can't catch Cam Ward throws sidearm. They can't catch it.
Mm-mm. And Cam Ward, he's got to get somebody's got to call him out for saying that he had the best receiving core in the NFL before week 1.
Hey, you gotta back your guys.
I guess, but that's kind of ridiculous. They're terrible. They might be the worst. They might be the worst in the NFL.
They're not good. They're not the best. That's for darn sure.
But one thing that gets me excited about Ibuka and just this offense as a whole is, what happens when Chris Godwin comes back? What happens when Jalen McMillan comes back? I mean, they are going to be dangerous because who are you going to cover? You can't cover all 4 of them. Someone is going to get open. And you even saw that on the play design, and the game-winning touchdown, they went right over to Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Went right over to him, and Ibuka gets scot-free, and that's with 2 guys injured. So when this team gets fully healthy on offense, they are going to be almost impossible to stop.
I agree. I mean, the only concern is there's only one football, and only one person can get the ball every play, but it seems like it's going to be a successful play more times than not. I mean, I think that's by far the best wide receiver group in the NFL when healthy.
You have to hope that they all have good morals and stuff like that. Nobody gets ball happy and stuff like that.
But I mean, I think sorry to cut you off, Joel, but I think they do. I mean,
I think so. Yeah, I think
Chris Godwin's wife.
Yeah, as long as Chris. Oh gosh,
there's been some episodes.
Oh boy. Anyways, I think Chris Godwin's been there long enough, veteran to understand. Mike Evans, we know he's not going to complain. Emeka Ibuka, everyone raves about his character, not just his football ability. We know he's a devout Christian. He's come out and said that, so I don't think we're gonna have a problem with that. And Jalen McMillan, had a similar role last season. Behind Godwin, behind Evans, and he didn't complain. So I think these guys are just gonna feed off each other, and as long as the defense keeps giving them the ball back enough for them to produce, I think there's gonna be no problems. And I think we should get to the guy throwing them the football because I think Baker Mayfield was definitely not his best performance. 17 for 32, 167 yards, 6-7, and 3 touchdowns. And that was so that came out to a 53.1% completion rate. And that's the lowest completion rate for Baker since the 2023 season, lower than any game last year. And his 4th lowest completion rate in a game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he struggled. I think Baker said he struggled. I think he used the word sloppy to describe it. I don't know. Thoughts on Baker Mayfield's games?
Well, I got to give a lot of credit to the Falcons defense. I said it last week too. I said, coming from their side of camp, they thought they had a really good defense, and I think they definitely did. We'll get to the O-line in a little bit, but they definitely got a lot of pressure on Baker to start the game, and I think that affected him a lot. And I think they're throwing different stuff at him. Their linebackers, Divine Diablo and Ellis, just throwing different stuff at him that threw him off. But I think the thing about Baker Mayfield is you can't give this guy a pulse. You give him a chance. You let him feel like he has a shot, and he will punish you. And that's what I love so much about Baker in this game. Rushing attack wasn't there. What does Baker do? He leads his team in rushes, scrambles out of the pocket, makes some huge plays with his legs. And when the game's on the line, he made the throws he needed to make. And that's what you love about Baker. He's a warrior. It doesn't matter what happens in the start of the game. He might struggle, but he's not going to quit on you. He's not going to quit, and he's going to make the plays. And I think the biggest thing, he missed some throws. He struggled to start. No interceptions. No turnovers from Baker Mayfield. And that's the thing that that you're looking for. You want him to play like that. And again, it didn't matter. They struggled. He finished the game. He finished the game with his arm.
And I think, too, he didn't have any play in the preseason. I know they said he's at a point in his career now where he doesn't need it, so that might have been part of it. But again, as you said, Will, he overcome all of the obstacles that were hindering him maybe at the beginning of the game, and he came out on top. So, there's not really anything to say. He did what he needed to do, and it's only going to get better by the coming weeks.
Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield is really becoming one of those quarterbacks that if there's, a minute plus left on the clock, you're scared to give Baker Mayfield the ball back. He really is becoming one of the good and maybe even great clutch quarterbacks in the NFL. I know there's some guys, Josh Allen, man, give him any time on the clock, and it's scary. But, Baker Mayfield has become one of those guys. I mean, you look at the close losses last year, they weren't on Baker. Baker really, there's plenty of times where Baker, had the drive, had the moment, but he just left too much time on the clock and the defense let him down, or the overtime rules let him down, or whatever it is. I think Baker Mayfield is really, getting and deserving the reputation of a clutch quarterback who won't allow his team to go down or easy. And like you said, if you give him a pulse, he's going to take it. He's going to, make that pulse into something great. And I think, and like you mentioned, the rushing game, I think that's also crucial. Led the team in rushing. And also what impresses me is he had 3 third down scramble conversions in the game. So 3 times where it was third and whatever, and he got the first down scrambling. Those are the key rushing plays. It's not the ones that you get on first and second down. Those are huge game-changing rushes, and Baker Mayfield has shown time and time again that he's able to do that. Really, really impressive. And I really think this is going to be an aberration for him. I think, we saw him miss Kate Otten wide open in the late stages of the game, a miscommunication, whatever it is, some inaccurate throws. Like you said, I think the Falcons defense, I will give them credit. I think they looked a lot better than I thought they did. Some of their young players, the linebackers you mentioned, I thought Xavier Watts in the safety position looked really, really good. He was a guy that I was really liking to watch during the draft process, and I thought he looked really good. I thought their corners were good. Their defensive line looked a lot better, but it was really, really impressive to see what Baker Mayfield was able to do in the crunch time, even after a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you mentioned it. I think we should get into it. The offensive line.
Yeah.
Will, do you want to tell them what the change was?
Yeah, and I feel like it was, at least, I mean, we stay pretty active on social media. We follow all the insiders, make sure we get everything correct. I mean, I feel like that was kind of out of left field.
So, to cut you off, I'm sorry. Todd Bowles said that they've been doing it for a couple weeks, but no one's hasn't reported on it or mentioned it. Blame the beat writers. We say this with FSU. We say this now with the Bucs. Blame the beat writers.
Yeah, and this is the thing for those of you listening. I keep looking over there like there's a camera, but I'm just staring into space.
Good habits.
Talking to myself there. Yeah, you guys subscribe. We're getting our foot in the door with a very important school in the area, but you keep subscribing, liking, boosting the viewership. Get us out there because we won't let you down.
No.
We won't let you down with all these reporters. But yeah, I feel like for everybody it came out left field, but they moved Graham Barton out to left tackle. Your starting center, Graham Barton, out to left tackle. Then and this is all just to replace Tristan Wirfs, by the way.
Yeah.
Which I think is the funniest part. Then they're like, you know what? Ben Breederson, left guard. Move him to center. And then 6-time NBA champion Michael Jordan at left guard for your Buccaneers. And, I think very interesting. I think there was some struggles. I think that's partially why probably the running game didn't look so good and why they were struggling with pass rush a lot from the start. But overall, I think they did pretty solid. I think Graham Barton especially, I mean, he was a tackle at Duke. And outside of, his pre-draft, scouting saying, he was one of the most athletic centers or athletic O-linemen they've seen in a long time, probably ever. I think the thing that stood out to most teams looking for him was that he can play all 5 positions on your offensive line. And so what a great thing to have is someone like Graham Barton, and he can stick out there. And I think he held up pretty well. I think he maybe got bull rushed like 1 or 2 times. But other than that, rock solid out there. And that's what you love to see.
I think it was a genius play by management to do that, coaching and management, to surprise the Falcons with that on game day. Like, for them they don't have tape. Like, their guys aren't prepared for that. So that was an act of brilliance. Like, I don't say that much for our coaching staff, but like, that was a tip of the cap moment for me.
And that was not just our management, not just our coaching staff. That was specifically Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles said this in the press conference. Him, Josh Grizzard and the offensive line coach. I'm blanking on the name. I am sorry. But so basically how this came down is they did that. This was going to be their backup plan in case Charlie Heck got hurt. They were going to move Graham Barton to left tackle and Britterson to center. And they did that, and they practiced it in case of emergency. But they kind of realized that it was starting to look pretty good in practice, and it was going. And they were kind of like, glazing over the topic and not really, really like having the discussions of making that the week 1 unit. And then Todd Bowles he specifically said, hey, I think we should go with this as the starting unit. So Todd Bowles is responsible for making the final call in that decision. So you got to give him a lot of credit because I thought it was a really good job. Baker Mayfield, you mentioned, he only was sacked 1 time in the game, and there was some pressure, but Baker, for the most part, especially in the second half, Baker Mayfield had a very clean pocket. The rush game wasn't as good as it was, but it really did seem like the Falcons had a lot of people in the box. They were focused on making sure Bucky Irving didn't get loose. And then you look at the PFF grades, the highest graded player on the Buccaneers offense was Ben Britterson in his debut as a center. So I thought this was a really good job. I think you got to give a lot of credit to Todd Bowles. I thought Todd Bowles had a great game on Sunday. I really, really did. Whether it was this discussion, there was an early 4th and 1 they went for that I thought was a really, really good choice.
I was like,
Yes.
go Bulls, okay.
Yes, there was a 4th and 1 they went for. I think there was a smartly used timeout, which I think was we talked about the game managing coach last week, Joel, but I think there was a smartly used timeout in the Falcons' final drive that allowed the Bucs to have some more time in their own drive. And I think that and again, you got to give him credit for the defensive performance. I don't know, it's off. You got to give him credit for the defensive performance, and got to give him credit for what the Buccaneers did to stop the Falcons, especially after that first drive. So I was really, really impressed with Todd Bowles in week 1.
Yeah, I agree. What now, haters? What now? What's it going to be? What's your gripe with Todd Bowles? He's only getting better. He's only getting better as a coach. He's progressing, and yeah, I think just on both sides of the ball, well-managed game, great game plan, and you saw improvements. You saw clutch plays being made. I think, the defense given, up, 34 and 30 points last year to the Falcons in both?
36 and 30.
36 and 30, and then, 20 this game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. The Bucs are getting better, and it's all thanks to Todd Bowles. These players are bought in.
I agree. I was going to also give credit to Todd Bowles for actually going out and benching Servace Dennis for that drive. It obviously had a positive impact on Dennis, and that's obviously another good choice by Todd Bowles and his coaching staff. So I thought they were a slam dunk this week. I really did. And I think, offensively, I guess the rushing attack, I think it will get better. I really do. I think there was, like I said, I think the Falcons were very keyed in on the rushing attack. Bucky Irving, definitely a quiet game for him. Got his first career touchdown reception, so congrats to Bucky on that. But he only had 37 yards on 14 carries, 2.6 yards per carry. The Bucs did end up having 101 yards rushing, but a lot of that was Baker Mayfield with his 39 rushing yards. I'm not concerned about the running games right now.
Me neither. I want to reiterate it, and I've said this point a lot, is teams in your division are designed to beat you. That's how they're built. It's not just something random. I mean, when you're the top dog in your division the last 5 years, teams are building around to beat you, to stop you, to slow you down, because the best way to get in the playoffs is winning the division, beating your divisional opponents. And I do think the Falcons have a very good defense. You got to give credit to Raheem Morris on that side. They are good, and I think the Bucs, I think a lot of their struggles came from, I think, just the O-line mix-up, and just simply the Falcons have a good defense. But I don't think it's going to hinder the Bucs going forward. I don't think this is some blaring issue, like you said. I'm not worried about it at all. You just got to give credit to the Falcons on that side, really.
Yeah. I mean, I guess real quick, Chase McLaughlin, you're on thin ice, buddy. You're on thin ice, Chase McLaughlin.
No, not quite Money McLaughlin this week.
Nope.
You can't call him that for at least.
That's why I said Chase McLaughlin.
Yeah,
He's got to earn that money
I'm saying
back.
3-week ban, and something good has to happen in those 3 weeks.
If he hits a 55-yard plus in this game, he can have it back.
No.
Okay.
I need 60.
I'll stand with you guys. 3-week ban for Money McLaughlin. I stand with TB3. But yeah, I really, really cannot deal with the stress of having a mediocre kicker.
It makes football fun.
I
It's
can't
just
do it.
annoying because it's one thing, miss field goal, whatever that happens. We saw plenty of kickers miss field goals all weekend. But to put, and I saw some people talking about it where it's like it almost helped that he missed that extra point there at the end of the game because it kind of had the Falcons sit back a little bit. But I
That's
disagree.
a terrible take.
They were taking shots. They were going to try one with the touchdown anyway. That's a huge kick that you have to make. You have to make that kick in that moment, in that situation. It's an extra point that should be the easiest kick you make. You can't have that because they really could have tied that game. It could have been an overtime. Who knows what would have happened? But yeah, you have to make that kick.
Very lucky that young Wake who missed that kick.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting PTSD for some Bucs overtime. Really was. But yeah, definitely want to clean that up. I thought Riley Dixon was pretty solid.
He
looked good.
Talk about one of the most underrated pickups by the Bucs in the offseason. It's Riley Dixon, man. Well, I think, there is a pretty
51.3 average per punt.
Yeah.
That's solid, man. That's good.
And then we can't forget to mention the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. He's going to bust one eventually.
Cameron Johnson, 54-yard punt return. I thought he was busting one in this game there, but yeah. that's got to be the longest. See, I should have done that research. I know for a fact that was longer than any punt return the Bucs had last year. So definitely an impressive feat for Cam Johnson this week.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Momentum building play, game changing play for sure.
All facets of the game, man. All three phases.
Gritty in all three facets for the Bucs. So do we want to move forward to the Texans game?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so the Houston Texans. So the Bucs got their one-score monkey off their backs this week. The Bucs got their Falcons monkey off their back. Now, on Monday Night Football, they look to get their primetime curse monkey off their back. Last season, the Bucs were 0-4 in regular season primetime games and then 0-1 in the playoffs against the Washington Commanders. This week, they hope to bounce back. Monday Night Football, 7 p.m., a special doubleheader for Monday Night Football, 7 p.m. against the Houston Texans on the road. We know the Houston Texans have C.J. Stroud. They got Nick Chubb at running back. They got some impressive wide receivers. Nico Collins. They have a pretty lackluster offensive line, and their starting center has gotten injured. And I think defensively, the Houston Texans are very, very impressive. Will Anderson on the line, Derek Stingley, just a lot of solid players, and they have done a really good job. Will, what is your thoughts or anything for this game coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say we have something called the Space City Curse. We have not beaten the Houston Texans in the city of Houston in the short existence of the Texans. And we haven't beaten them since 2003.
Wow.
So it would be very huge to get this win for the Buccaneers. I think I think this game could go a lot of ways. When I was watching, the film against the Rams, Texans they led at halftime like 9-7.
Yeah.
They were shut out in the second half. Shout out to the Rams defense. I think the Rams have a really solid defense. But I think it really depends on C.J. Stroud. I think he kind of went through a sophomore slump last year, but he definitely has the weapons on offense to make big plays. We've seen him make big plays, so it's going to be really important to limit that. I think for this Bucs offense, I think one thing the Texans struggled with a lot against the Rams is getting off the field on third down, and we know from the Bucs they are a pretty good, very good third down team. So I think that's pretty important for your Bucs offense. So yeah, I think it could go a lot of ways, but I really think, looking at it, my gut feeling, I think the Bucs should win this game. We talk about, primetime stuff in this. Got to get over that hump eventually, and I think it'll start Monday.
Joel?
There's not too many reasons to be scared of the Texans, but I'm very scared of the Bucs primetime stuff. Like it goes well beyond just last year. So I mean, if they can shake this, if they can get rid of this quick, like if they can get this one out of the way, it won't be something that ESPN and the national media takes focus on. But if they lose the game, that's going to be all we hear for the rest of the season. So this is probably one of the bigger games of the season early on. But I just don't believe in them. So it's I don't know. I won't give scores yet if we're not doing that. But it's just I don't know. I think the Bucs will beat themselves in this one.
Interesting. I think that's totally fair. I think this really is an opportunity for the Bucs to have a statement win on Monday Night Football. Again, a lot of people will be watching. The Texans are a team that have made the playoffs the last 2 years. Won a playoff game actually the last 2 years as well. Back-to-back AFC South champions. And C.J. Stroud, I think he's really talented. Obviously, Will mentioned had a sophomore slump. I don't think that was all due to his own doing. I think a lot of wide receiver injuries, and I really do think this Houston Texans offensive line is suspect. They allowed C.J. Stroud to get sacked 3 times. He threw for less than 200 passing yards. The Texans ran for about 4.2 yards per carry. But I think that the Buccaneers defensive line, I think this is a chance for the Buccaneers defensive line to really make a statement and show that this is an improved group. And I mean, Will mentioned Hassan Reddick had a really good, a really solid debut. I'm looking for him to, build upon that. I think Yaya Diaby had a lot of flash plays, and I think Vita Vea, in the run was good, but him and Kalijah Kancey, I think could have done a lot better in the pass pressure in the middle of the line. And I think they're going to have an opportunity with Houston's starting center out. I think this is an opportunity for the Bucs defensive line to make a huge statement. And I think that Houston had 2 turnovers last week. The Buccaneers defense didn't force a single turnover. Was that because Zion McCollum can't catch the ball? Yes. And I think the Bucs are due for a couple turnovers this week. I think they will get a couple. I think that will flip the game. And offensively, I have a lot of respect for Houston's defense. I think that's actually the stronger part of their team. Even though they have C.J. Stroud on offense, I really do think they have a lot of talented players, on defense. Make sure we don't have Baker Mayfield sliding anywhere near, Azeez Al-Shaair. He might pop him. They went out and they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We know he's a really solid safety. Derek Barnett off the edge. Like Danielle Hunter now off the edge too. Like this is a very, very impressive team, and I think the defense is going to be good, but I think the Buccaneers offense in week 2 is going to be a lot crisper. I'm looking for the offensive line in their second game in a row. I'm looking for Graham Barton, who held his own, like you said last game. I'm looking for him to kind of move people a little bit more in the run game in the left tackle spot. I'm looking for Baker Mayfield to hit those bigger throws. Get some more people involved. I mean, I really think that you look at this game. It was a kind of a. I mean, how many different receivers kind of pass against the Falcons? Because I think they could have done a better job. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different receivers catching a pass against the Falcons. Ryan Miller didn't catch one. Cade Otton didn't catch one. Tej Johnson, we thought he caught one, but it got overturned. I think that Baker Mayfield's going to spread the ball. I think this is a game that screams Mike Evans 100-plus yards, only 51 last game, which is a solid start, but I think he's due to a big one, especially with Emeka Egbuka getting a little bit more attention on film. And I think the running game will be just a little bit better. The Rams, they actually didn't. They ran for 2.9 yards a rush. So I think the Texans defense is formidable, but I also think the Bucs defense is going to kind of be able to pin their ears back and do a really good job against the Houston Texans offensive line and even force some turnovers because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this game, as long as your defense holds up, I think you'll be pretty okay. I am a little concerned, like you mentioned, Derek Stingley, and I think Kamari Lassiter too.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good duo there for your cornerbacks. So I think it'll be kind of a flip-flop for now. I think I agree with you. I think Mike Evans will kind of have the bigger game than Egbuka. Like you said, I think he'll draw more attention, but it really is getting those guys open. They both were one of the 2 best corners and completion percentage when they were targeted. So that's something to keep an eye on, especially for Baker, who missed a lot of throws. So, yeah, I think defense take care of business, and then the offense get these receivers going. I think you'll have a pretty successful evening.
Yeah, and I think this could be a little bit of a revenge game for this Buccaneers defense, because do you guys remember what happened last time the Bucs were in Houston?
I still got a bad taste in my
it
mouth
was
from
bad,
that game.
really bad. Bucs lose 39-37 on a last-second touchdown. C.J. Stroud threw for 470 yards. I think this Buccaneers defense will remember that. There's a lot of players that were playing back then: Antoine Winfield, Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, Zion McCollum, Levante David. All those guys were around for that game. That I'm sure there's more, but I think that there's going to be a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think the Bucs defense is playing with a lot more confidence, and I really cannot stress enough. While I think Houston probably has a little bit better defense than the Falcons, I think the Bucs offense left a lot of meat on the bone against the Falcons, and I think they're going to clean up a lot of that stuff. Whether it's assignments and blocking, having more chunk plays in the running game, or it's Baker Mayfield being a little bit more accurate. Some receivers, more receivers getting open. I think those plays are going to be there, and I think the Bucs are. I really just. I know it's prime time. I know it's a road game, but I think the Bucs have a better team than the Texans. I really do. And I think the key to the game would be to win the turnover battle. I think what has hurt the Bucs, especially in primetime games, has been silly turnovers. I think of the Cowboys game. I think of the Falcons game, Bucky Irvin fumbling last year. I think silly turnovers has been part of the Bucs' primetime curse of them beating themselves. So I think winning the turnover battle will be a key to this game. I think Baker Mayfield bouncing back and being more accurate, because if he plays a game like he did this Sunday, I think the Bucs could be in some trouble. But I just don't see him doing that. I really see Baker bouncing back. And I think defensively, getting multiple sacks, getting pressure on C.J. Stroud will be important, and I think it will happen. Are we ready to predict, fellas?
Yeah.
All right, so I think I'll go first. Like I said, I think the Bucs have a better team. I think they're more complete. I like that they just got this gritty win. I think they're going to be able to get another gritty one against the Texans on Monday night. So I'm going to say the Bucs win this game. I'm going to say the Bucs win 27-24. The Bucs win on Monday night. Will?
I think the Bucs also win. I'm going to say 24-17. I think it'll be, like 24-10. Maybe the Texans kind of get a later touchdown, but I think the Bucs handle business, and it's mostly Bucs for most of the game. It'll be a nice win.
Joel?
I think the primetime monkeys it's on their back. Like they know about it going into this, and early in the season as it is, it might be something that causes them to have a little bit of a hiccup. I think we're probably going to lose this one 27-20.
27-20 final score. And yeah, Buccaneers, Monday Night Football, ESPN, 7 p.m. Tune into the Bucs as they take on the Texans. And we'll move on to the Rays. We got some live breaking news.
Boo.
The Rays lost to the White Sox.
Yandy Diaz can't put the ball in play.
I think it was Brandon Lau, right?
So Yandy Diaz was 1 up. Brandon Lau was 2 up. Yandy Diaz, all he had to do was put the ball in play and it would have been tied. Get a hit and we'd have won the game.
That stinks. Yeah. So the Rays stand at 72-73. Joel, what are your overall thoughts on the Rays right now?
I mean, you really can't give up on them until they're eliminated. But my bigger problem right now is that every other team going right now is on fire. Like Texas can't be stopped right now. They just swept the Brewers. The Mariners just took 2 or 3 from the Braves. I thought the Braves might have been able to put up a little bit of a fight up against them, but they couldn't. So, I mean, it seems that every team's kind of taking off around them, and they're not going to be able to catch up with anybody regardless of how much they win. So, I mean, again, you can't give up on them, but it's tempting. It's very, very tempting to give up on them. Everybody, I mean, guys are playing good. Shortstop Carson Williams just got his home run last night. I think he got one last night and
tonight, yeah. He got one Sunday.
Yeah,
he got one tonight.
And then Third baseman's still going
Junior
good. So,
Caminero.
yeah, he got another home run tonight.
42 home runs. I think there's 18 games left.
Yeah, I think if he gets 47, he catches Carlos Pena, so that'd be cool.
If he gets 47, he passes.
Passes?
Passes.
Okay.
46, he catches.
So again, I mean, obviously that's what we're looking for at this point, and then just see what happens with the rotation. Tonight being a bullpen game was kind of stupid. Like I don't know what was up with that. That's a little bit concerning, but hopefully we don't see that again the rest of the year.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, the bullpen game tonight. Joe Rock pitched for the bulk. Mason Montgomery struggled. He gave up 5 runs in his inning. Just really, a cherry on top for what's been a pretty, terrible season for Mason Montgomery, quite frankly. And I just, it's very interesting. So I'm trying to figure out why this was a bullpen game.
Because Drew Rasmussen goes, I think, Saturday, so it wasn't him.
Hauser pitched, and then so who would? I'm sorry, I'm doing some investigating.
It might be something because they are playing tomorrow. They had the off day Monday, so in theory that would have rested somewhere if it's like an elongated thing. So I don't know, but yeah, Drew Rasmussen goes, I think, Friday, so that's good.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just
maybe they were just giving everyone an extra.
Here, while you're looking for this, did you guys see that the main investor for the Orlando group was added to the Tampa group?
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, there's what people are saying is that part of the reason why the sports leadership within the Tampa system did that was to kind of give the city council members more of a reason to vote this kind of stuff in. Because otherwise, it's like, hey, we got the Orlando guy on the board of investors already, so he'll just take his ball over there. So I think that was smart. Like they keep saying end of September, maybe beginning of October. So it's like if nothing happens by Halloween, that's when we can get a little bit scared. But I don't see it happening.
Okay, so I think he just tonight bullpen was in lieu of a Ryan Pepio start.
Okay.
I know Ryan Pepio's they've been trying to limit his innings the last few games, so I think that probably has something to do with the innings limit. Back to your point on the Orlando thing, I also think it's wise. Mostly, I think it's wise to get as much money in the room as possible, as much people who are interested in the Rays, because you want to have a big investment group so you can have the money to spend on players, to spend on a new stadium, stuff like that. And I do think it's good. I think it's good to kind of bring those cities together because I think if the Rays are to work, I think that, I think it's Orlando and Tampa wants to work together. You don't want to be working against each other. You don't want to take resources away from each other. Dare I say this might make a fairground stadium more likely?
No, so the next leading spot, Ebor's still number 1. They said that was the leader in the clubhouse, I think, in July. But now there's a new spot somewhere on the HCC campus across the street from Raymond James. That's like a pretty close second. That might take first place in the next couple months.
I would love that.
It's a little bit more boring, but it's easier for the Pinellas side, so I'll take it.
It's much closer than Ybor, and I think the attendance would be good.
Yeah. It's just it's not as fun. Like drone shots. It's like, woo, there's a Bucs Stadium and there's 275.
Yeah,
it's
but
like, it's like Ybor.
Maybe they could build up a little like complex,
they
venue.
Will. They will.
That could be cool.
They'll for sure do that.
That could be cool. I like that. So that's interesting. On the field, Josh Lozman's bringing a good bat. But yeah, I don't know. I think the stadium is more interesting than the stadium. Ownership is more interesting.
The ownership is the biggest win of the season, I would say,
for sure. And I'm really excited. I hope we can get it finalized. Did we also see that Stu Sternberger is still going to be a minority owner, about 10% stake in the team?
Yeah.
Any are we mad about that?
Yes.
It's not fine.
Run him out of town with pitchforks.
He'll probably sell in like 5 years, but I think it's just a way for him to kind of appease himself a little bit.
I don't know why he has such a tie to the Rays. Like if he had such a tie to the Rays, why is he not doing what's best? It's like he's there to like curse us.
it's like the bad guy in the sequel or whatever. It's like, I'm still here.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
Ugh, horrible movie. But yeah, I don't got much from the Rays.
No. I mean, it's done.
It was like me and Will were leaving Gainesville after an amazing USF win, and we're peeping and we're like, hey, wonder what happened in the Rays game, and then it was like immediately like Pete Fairbanks was like giving up a go-ahead run.
That's why you don't pitch Pete Fairbanks when the game is tied. Kevin Cash, how many years is it going to take you to learn this lesson?
It's just what I think it's dumb. I think the mindset of a closer is dumb. Just if you are so good, let's just go out there and get 3 outs, no matter what it is. The first inning, the second inning, or the ninth inning.
And that's part of that makes me hate Pete Fairbanks even more because technically speaking, he's not a closer. Like Cash would always say, like whoever is needed in the highest leverage situation will be the guy that goes in that moment. So technically, he shouldn't even have that kind of closer kind of mentality.
But they kind of gave it to him a couple of years ago, and I think that might have been the first
Maybe.
mistake. I think making Pete Fairbanks like the full-time closer they thought was going to help him out, but I think that's actually been kind of the beginning of his fall. Yeah, I really do. Will, anything?
Tune in to Bucs football Monday night, 7 p.m.
Catch one more. Catch one more game outdoors. I'm gonna try to get to one more game.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be there September 21st, but
I'm trying to. Have they still been doing the standing room tickets, Joel?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm only going to that doubleheader game if I get a standing room ticket.
I mean, we like the second they drop, we gotta be
Yeah,
quick on it
you
because
gotta
those are gonna go against.
squeeze it.
I'm
yeah.
just out on the Rays, man.
It's
Another
tough.
disappointing season.
Well, it's just like they had all the opportunity to stay in that race. You can't drop 3 or 4 to home to Cleveland. You can't do that.
The
You
way
shouldn't do
the
that.
way they did it in every game was horrible.
Yeah,
It just shouldn't even been like
2
this.
1-run losses. This is ridiculous. You have to win those games if you want to have a chance to get in the playoffs, and you just didn't.
Yeah, you just had to cut. Well, it's annoying that we're sitting here doing this. It's been like this, last season too, where they just had to win this and that. But it's like you were primed for a playoff spot in at the end of June, and then you just decided that you didn't want to win games anymore.
That's their memo though. Like June and July are tough months for them.
Yeah,
July is for sure.
but
tough month for 'em.
I'm sick of it, man.
Yeah, this season been far more heartbreaking for me, just because I've seen how good they could be, and for the plummet in July and August was just hard to watch, man.
I mean, I think the darkness of the last couple of years though makes it so exciting for the new ownership group. Like just all the thoughts that go through my mind. Like, are we gonna rebrand? Are we gonna beat Tampa, St. Pete,
Nashville Sounds?
Yeah, right. I would know. When a team goes to Nashville, they're gonna be the Stars.
The Stars.
Yeah, not the Sounds. Well, just Sounds is so much better.
True, but I don't think they like taking away minor league teams' names.
I mean, if it's like a historic, so they'll lean toward history. So both names are historically relevant to Nashville. The Stars was the Negro League name, so that's why they're doing that name.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Nashville will be the team that gets the expansion south.
So their problem is that all of the public money has gone to the new Nissan Stadium for the Titans, so they have no public money right now for baseball. So they make sense, but they don't have anything. They don't have anything to offer. So anybody who goes into that will be pretty much paying for all of it out of their pocket.
I see.
The cities that are best suited right now are Portland and Salt Lake City. They both pretty much can pay for the entire stadium just with money that they set up through taxes over the years.
But it seems like MLB doesn't want to add 2 West Coast teams.
Yeah, they want an East and a West
because they want to realign.
Yeah,
which will be fascinating to see that.
But if they realign, in theory, it might be more profitable to have more teams on the West because it would probably just about even it out.
Yeah, I know that if they did a Salt Lake team, then they could kind of stick like the Rockies and the Diamondbacks and kind of those lower
like
Western teams.
Texas or something.
Yeah, maybe Texas. But I think if you don't add an Eastern team, I think those Texas teams actually get grouped with the Florida teams and the Atlanta. Because that's your problem is you have a lot of baseball teams in the Northeast, a lot of teams in California, but you have, it's just like a team like Seattle has to travel a lot, but if they have Portland that they can travel to, it helps a lot. So it could go either way. I don't know. They got to fill in their gaps in baseball a little bit better, but
that probably won't come to like the early 2030s though.
Probably, but
because the baseball is going to get a huge lockout in the 27 season.
I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, they seem like they're pretty hell-bent on getting a salary cap, which I'm all about.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I hope it gets through. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull that one off, but I hope
have
it goes
to be
through.
able to at some point.
Yeah.
What the Rays, Pittsburgh, and Oakland are doing right now is disgusting.
Well, and I think what players are going to need to understand is the salary cap is by creating a salary floor, it's only going to get them more money in the long run.
Yeah, and toward the end of their contracts, they're going to be getting those deals where instead they're falling out of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially of late. Like if you're 35 and only slightly above average, you're not playing anymore.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's another talk for another day. So that was TB3 episode 97. Again, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like. If you're on Spotify, hit the 5 stars, hit the follow button. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter /X. Yeah, make sure you guys tune into TB3 University, and I hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed night.